Fox News with Kent Clark.
Guys, that's pronounced Faux News.
Thanks for tuning in to Fox News with Kent Clark. Tonight we have a very special addition to last week's episode of Us versus Them, dealing with racism. During that episode, we had two winners, Seattle and London. Well, tonight, we pit those two cities together to see which one will win. Over to you, Brian.
So do you feel like racism's a problem here?
I think that it is. It is in the sense of, people don't communicate. There's not the sort of, outside of certain social circles, there's very much a divide, a self-segregation, if you will. That's something I experienced growing up in high school here. There were a few programs, extracurricular activities that sort of brought people of different races and cultures, ethnicities together, but it's still like super divided. I think that's something that we're not, Seattleites are really willing to talk about. Nobody's sitting there and saying, oh yeah, let's have a conversation about race. It's like, okay, well that's not very politically correct, and we're not going to ignore that you have race. We're just not going to talk about it. So, we need to sort of get over ourselves if we want to just be able to, to live together, like cohabitate everybody, you know what I mean? We need to talk about and realize who we are and how amazing we all are, right, despite skin color, despite, where we're coming from culturally, geographically, whatever. I don't know if Seattle is really ready to have that conversation. I hope so. I hope we can, still work toward that, but we're certainly not there yet.
So do you feel like there's a problem with racism here?
I'll be honest with you, I think there is institutionalized racism. I think especially when it comes to the way the government deals with housing systems, for example. I don't know if you noticed, but in this country, people have historically been housed by race. And so you have areas of this city, especially, where it's race divided, not because people choose to stay amongst their own. Yeah, that's a natural habit. People like to be amongst their own. Right. But fundamentally, people are housed that way. And the segregation is, I have a sensation that it's quite a controlled segregation. I think racism is also quite underlined here. We're quite mature about our racism here, like we do it, but we do it with a really clever, underhanded way. We're not so overt. I hate to be very open about it. I found the racism far more overt. Right. In for example, North Carolina, it was quite obvious. You drive, you're like, okay, yeah, this is a nice neighborhood. This is nice. This is a different neighborhood. Yeah. This is not the same color neighborhood. Right. Yeah, and it's very obvious. It's slightly less obvious in this city, but it is definitely alive. We had a racism march on the 24th of March in London. I think the thing that bothered me the most about it was an anti-racism march, xenophobia. Everyone was supposed to be, let's get together, multiculturalism. Right. Unfortunately, even the people who are preaching against the racists, right, they're using the same rhetoric, and I felt when I was there, I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. Right. Because, they're like, we're going to destroy them. We want to keep them in the gutter where they belong. I was like, no. That's not what we don't want them in the gutter. We want them to join us and be our friends. Right. We don't want to kill them. We don't want to destroy. So unfortunately, I think the discussion on racism is wrong. Right. Is there racism? Yes. Is it beatable? Absolutely. Are most people able to get along regardless of it? Yes.
Wow, Brian, once again, excellent reporting. There really is no winner when it comes to racism. The real winner tonight is you, the viewer. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. That way you'll keep up to date with every single Fox News video with Kent Clark. Thank you and good night.